Welcome to another episode of Make Mental Health Matter. I am your host, Kelly Melissa Reinhart, and I am so excited for you to be watching today. If this happens to be your very first time watching and you are watching on YouTube, make sure you click down the subscribe button, or if you're on any of the other streaming platforms like E360 TV, Roku, Amazon, Fire, Apple, whatever it might be, make sure you add this into your favorites, your want to watch later list, whatever that list is, so that you don't miss another episode. And I go live on Mondays at 11 a.m. and Wednesdays at 7 p.m. But we're going to talk a little bit about that today. But also, I don't have a guest for today, which is totally okay because we are going into the holidays. Well, we've already gone into the holidays, but if you are somebody who celebrates Christmas, that is right around the corner. And if you happen to be somebody like me who has a younger child that you do Elf on the Shelf, you know how many days there are. You probably are counting them down, potentially. But you know that it's coming up very, very soon. So, now is a time that really people start to feel potential stress, pressure. There's lots of emotions that come up around the holiday. Maybe you have experienced a loss and you're having those moments that you're feeling really nostalgic, or you're having conversations with other family members. Like our family last night, we celebrated our Christmas because some of us are traveling and won't be around. So we decided to do half of the family last night. And so we all just started reminiscing about different things as related to recipes and missing my sister, and lots of just different conversations. And that's what happens a lot, is this grief journey and losing somebody in your life. You have those moments that you're spending time with family and remembering the other family members that are maybe not there with you anymore, or friends, or whomever you might have lost along the way. And sometimes it can cause stress, it can cause anxiety, it can make you feel really sad or depressed. Like there's so many different emotions that come up centered around loss. And I just wanted to share a couple things today because, as you know, this show is called Make Mental Health Matter. I am the founder of BCC Evolution, which is a mental health and suicide awareness nonprofit. But our alter ego, I guess you could say, is Make Mental Health Matter. And the show is called that. We have a group on Facebook called that. And that is our tagline that we use with the BCC Evolution logo. So if you haven't ever seen the BCC, oh, this is the Make Mental Health Matter. It's this way, that way. this this is the logo for the show, but the heart is the BCC Evolution logo. And if you've ever seen the BCC Evolution logo, it actually has Make Mental Health Matter on there too. So it's kind of what you would call our alter ego for the nonprofit. But if you searched up bccevolution.org or makementalhealthmatter.org, you would get to the same place because we happen to own both domains. Anyways, not the top of a conversation, but what I want to share and why I went that direction is because the whole goal of everything that I do, and I know I have said this, is to really start getting people to have conversations as related to mental health, substance use, suicidal ideation, the things that we don't want to talk about very often. Those are the things that I like to have conversations about. As you start to have these conversations, you get more uncomfortable in the uncomfortable. And the whole point of this show is to bring you resources, information, education, so that you, if you are somebody who is struggling, or you know somebody that's struggling, you don't feel so alone. And you know that there's lots of us out here that really truly want to help and or can be a resource for you or others when you need it. So that really is the whole goal of the show. Is there are lots of resources out there, but sometimes we only think about the big ones. And there are certain people that are better to go talk to depending on what challenge is coming up for you, but there are often alternative, or maybe you want to call them holistic, or whatever you want to happen to call them. There are lots of other resources out in this world that you can tap into at any point in time. And again, that's really the whole goal of this show, is how do we make mental health matter? And I know that the news, the media, we're really talking about mental health in general. So that's what I want to share with you today. And I know we've had these conversations in the past, but it's kind of fun to put it all into one show just so that you can refer back at any point in time. You're like, oh yeah, episode number blah blah blah, whatever, Kelli talked about mental health and how we can do XYZ. Yes, so you can refer back and it's all in one show. So all of us have mental health. Mental health is actually our brain. We all have mental health, but not all of us experience or live with a mental health challenge. And when you talk about mental health challenges, it is something that affects your live, your love, and your life. So if you simplify it, in the sense of, or laugh, it's 3 L's. Live, love, laugh. Sorry, live, love, laugh. So if you have a mental health challenge, that is something that affects your ability to live, your ability to love, or your ability to laugh. And that is in the most simplest form that I can explain what a mental health challenge, or if you experience an illness, a disorder, or a dis-ease, as I call them, or if you're diagnosed with a mental health challenge. Those are the parts of your life that the mental health challenge can and may affect. And so that's how they know when they can diagnose or how they go about diagnosing. And so if you break it down into the very simplest form, if you are somebody who experiences a mental health challenge, say like depression, anxiety, maybe you have suicidal thoughts, possibly what are most common, like OCD, ADHD, ADD, there is schizophrenia, personality disorders, mood disorders. Anxiety is a mood disorder. There are, gosh, there's so many. Like, I don't want to just sit here and list off all the mental health challenges, but if you are somebody that has been diagnosed in the past, it is great information to have, right? If you are like, I don't know why I'm feeling this way and it's really stressing me out, then going and actually getting a diagnosis is a plus. But sometimes we don't always need a diagnosis to understand that maybe we think differently or maybe we're feeling differently. If you think about it in the ways of how are you feeling, what are you thinking about, what are you focusing on, that's another way to look at it. And I've had multiple friends say to me before, have you ever gone and got tested for ADHD? And I was like, no. I already know enough about myself at this point in my life. I don't really need to go get a diagnosis. I know if I look at my computer screen, I have a million tabs open. Not anymore, because I did one day. I got them all closed, which is really great. But I still have multiple tabs open. My brain jumps from one thing to another thing pretty often. And that's why, even in this show, like keeping me on track is something that can be challenging for me, because my brain's going to skip to another subject and go from subject to subject, but I always make my way back to what I was trying to say, and or what I was doing on the computer. So that is generally a symptom or a sign of ADHD. And so there's lots of, if you don't understand the difference between a sign or a symptom, so signs are things that you can see or you can observe in another person or yourself, and symptoms are something that has to be reported. So if I'm feeling really, really sad, or I am experiencing hallucinations or delusions, those are things that I would have to tell you about. Or if I have a fever, like sometimes you can see that people are like flushed, or they're not feeling well, and then you take their temperature. That's something that you can see, but it's also a symptom that has to be reported to somebody. So those are the differences. The signs are things that we can see, like physically see with our eyes, and then symptoms are things that have to be reported by the person. So when I talk about signs and symptoms, that's what it means. So, with a mental health challenge, oftentimes we have this stigma. There's so much stigma around mental health that we just don't talk about it enough. And luckily, in the news, we really are having more of these conversations, which is incredible. It needs to happen. And it's actually the older generations that still aren't fully willing, I guess is the word, to have these conversations, because it was something that you were shunned for. It was something that was very hush hush, like, we don't talk about that in our families. Or, oh, you're fine, just get over it, rub some dirt on it. You may have heard those phrases in the past. And that's just not how the generation now, like, I am highly impressed with the generation currently that is having more open conversations. They're really focused on their mental health. They're standing up for themselves when they're potentially being bullied, or maybe they're not feeling the way that they feel like they should feel. They're really open to these conversations now, and you see that more in the gender fluidity that has come up a lot in the news, is that we're really open to the conversations of, like, what does it mean to be gender fluid? What does it mean to be bisexual? What does it mean to be um non-binary, right? Like, there's so many different genders now, and that's part of the conversation. That's part of, like, even the mental health conversation. It's being open, honest, transparent. Hey, I experience a mental health challenge. Hey, I experience suicidal ideations. People are open and honest about what they're experiencing, and that is wonderful. Like, how cool would it be to get to a place that you're walking down the hallway, maybe at work, and somebody says, "Hey, how are you doing?" And you're like, I'm not feeling that great today, to be honest. I don't need you to help me, but I just want to be transparent with you, right? Or maybe it's like, I'm having a really crappy day, and I'm not trying to put this on you by any means, but I'm curious, how are you feeling today? Right? Like, it's not a, hey, I need you to sit here and have this conversation. I think that oftentimes when we are walking down the hallway and they say, "Hey, how are you doing?" You're like, "I'm great." "Hey, how are you doing?" "I'm great." Even though underneath, like, we're struggling. It's a hard day. I'm so mad. I'm so sad. I'm having a really hard day, but I'm not going to say that to anybody, because maybe in my mind, I'm like, I don't want to put that on somebody else. Or, like, it's not really my place at work to say how I'm actually feeling. Like, how many times have you ever felt that way, that you're like, man, I wish when somebody texts me or they pass by me in the hallway that I could just say, I feel really crappy, with no expectations for them to fix me, no expectations for them to judge me, no expectations for it to be like become this whole conversation. just more of the fact that, like, I need to get that off my chest and I don't want to fake how I'm feeling. Like, how cool would that be to have a society that we can actually do that? And I know that we can, can't we? That's right. We totally can. We can create this society that we're able to actually express the feelings, whatever we're feeling, and not feel like we're going to be judged. And that's okay. But it takes time, it takes skills, it takes having the hard conversations when we don't want to have those conversations. And that's what it means to make mental health matter. We're making the conversations matter. We're having the conversations that feel really uncomfortable because it's important. And I know that I have a lot of people that come to me that they are worried about their youth, or they're worried about somebody in their life because maybe they have noticed a decline in their health. Maybe they have noticed a decline or found um, letters or heard that they're having suicidal ideations. Like, there's a lot of people that come to me about that, and they're like, I don't know what to do other than what I've been doing. Well, let's talk about, like, what have you been doing? Is it kind of like that surface level thing? Is it like, hey, how are you doing today? I'm fine. Okay. And then we walk away. Or is it, so you say you're okay, but I've really noticed that you haven't really been doing I don't know, insert activity, insert fact. I've been noticing that you haven't been coming to lunch lately. I've been noticing that you haven't been texting as much as you did in the past. Whatever it is, I just want to check in. Is there something that you maybe want to talk about? And if not, that's okay. But at least what I'm doing with that question is that I'm planting seeds. I'm letting them know that I'm here when they're ready. And maybe I'm not their trusted person, and that's okay too. But at least they know that I am here if they ever need to talk to me. And that's just planting the seeds. The way that we can have these hard conversations is that we start planting seeds. We let people know that we are a safe space for them to come, and that I'm not going to judge whatever comes out of your mouth. I may not agree with what you say to me. I may not agree with the behaviors that you are doing or saying, or yeah, like, I might not agree with a specific situation, but I can accept that you're going through something really, really hard. And that's okay. And I can be that safe space that you can come to, that I'm not going to judge you and you can just let it all out. Because most of the time, when people are really truly struggling, they need a safe space. They need a space that they can go to talk to a person that will just simply listen and not judge them and not try to fix them. I know personally, I oftentimes go more towards the solution. Like, I am really, truly, I feel like I'm a helper. Like, I want to truly help people. And sometimes when I'm talking to them, my brain's like, oh, I can fix this. Or, oh, I know a solution. Oh, maybe if I insert this of my experience, like, they'll go the way that I went. But that's not what they need at that moment. They just need you to pause. They need a place to breathe. They need a place to speak about whatever it is and not feel like they're going to get in trouble or get judged or any of those other emotions that come up. Simply a space to just be. And how cool would that be if we as a society can create these safe spaces? Because we can. We just have to learn. I know this is probably going in a little bit different direction today, but I want you to really truly understand how we as individuals can really truly make mental health matter. The reason why I named the show Make Mental Health Matter, because I truly want you to have the resources, the skills, the understanding, all the information that you need to go into conversations, bring more awareness, and really truly get educated about mental health. And this can be that safe space potentially for you. So, we're going to go to a quick sponsored break. We'll be right back and we'll chat some more.
Hey, this is your favorite couple, Chad and Linnell, with My Bulletproof Marriages, where we talk all things relationships.
Tune in each and every Sunday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time to Trajectory TV Network. Join the family right here on E360 TV.
And like that, I'm back. If you happen to be just joining, thank you so much for watching. I don't have a guest for today, so I'm just really sharing some ways that you, as the viewers, can really start to make mental health matter. Hence, the name of the show is giving resources, information, understanding, really how we can create these safe spaces for people to come and be able to share whatever they happen to be going through. Through us creating these safe spaces, through us having these conversations, we're really truly giving people the space to make their mental health matter, which ultimately will start to break down the stigma as it surrounds mental health, substance use, and suicide. And I actually have been on other people's shows lately and then brought other people on my show. And we've been talking about grief and loss and the holidays and really how, I mean, I can't believe that December is almost over. Like, it blows my mind, but also it's gone so fast and I didn't realize. I was like, oh my gosh, Christmas is next week, which is awesome. So the years fly by at this point and going into the new year. So oftentimes we create new year resolutions. I don't know about you, but I don't do them because I am not very good at keeping to them, which most people aren't. So gym memberships go up towards the beginning of the year and then you're paying for something that you never use by the end of the year, or maybe it will start to spark a change. They say it takes about 45 days to create a new habit. So why not consider making a new year? I'm like, what am I going to call it? I don't know. What I do in the new year, instead of making a resolution, I'll just tell you this. So I have a big whiteboard up by my bed, and every single year I pick a word or possibly words for the year. So this last year was unapologetic action. That's where it started. It started with unapologetic action, and then it moved into massive action because I was like, I mean, why I did unapologetic was because I was sick of apologizing to people for taking action. More specifically, because I felt like I had to do what everybody else wanted me to do, and or I didn't feel like I could take action without having to ask. And so that's where I got to a point that I was like, if I want to move the needle with this nonprofit and I want to start saving people's lives and I want to do the things that we really truly need to do to get moving forward, then I've got to take some unapologetic action, and I'm not going to apologize for taking those actions. And that's where it started. And that was okay. But then I really started thinking about it, and I was like, does that feel authentic to what I'm really trying to accomplish? And that's when it kind of shifted into massive action, taking action on the things that will still help the needle move forward. But what's those massive action steps to take? So every single first of the year, or maybe now, I haven't quite gotten there yet. I know I only have like, what, 2 weeks left? Okay, I'll get there eventually. I pick a word or words for the year, and then I write down my top 3 goals for the year. But then I well, I don't fully clear the board, but the things that I have not cleared yet, that I haven't taken off because I've accomplished them, I will leave them or move them or shift them depending on what I want to accomplish. So, sometimes I wipe the slates clean and I start fresh, keeping in the things that I really truly want to accomplish. And I have learned how to so it's a vision board. That's what it ultimately is. I use my words or word of the year, and then I draw sometimes pictures. I'm not the best. I'm not an artist. I do stick figures and like I did a little house and a sunshine. So nothing fancy. And then I put words, and I have learned that you can also do your vision board feng shui. So there's certain quadrants for family, certain quadrants for money, career, vacation, I'm like, what, work, and empowerment or motivation. So there's like different quadrants that you can put your goals into, or the things that you want to accomplish over the year. And that's what I do. I do vision boards. I also get that word of the year, and then I write down my top 3 goals. Something else that you can do is write your own mission statement, your own vision statement. Like, what is your life mission? What are you trying to accomplish in this thing that we call life? What is the vision that you want to see happening throughout the year? You can do it yearly. I've had my vision and mission statement written out for a long time, but every single year I go back and tweak it a little bit because maybe I have already accomplished what I was trying to do. Or maybe I need to give myself a little bit extra motivation to get to that next level. So I just keep kind of changing and molding my mission and vision as I go throughout life. And that's something that you can do as you look towards 2024. I'm like, what is the year? 2024. So that can help, instead of setting resolutions that maybe we're going to break, and then we get hard on ourselves, and then that like affects our mental health, and then we get mad or sad or depressed because I didn't even accomplish what I was setting out to do. Why not change the mindset to something that you can accomplish? Or put it on your vision board. You can take clippings out of newspapers, out of magazines. Yes, those are still around. Not everything is digital. Um, or maybe there's a new skill that you want to learn, something that you want to go towards, not away from, but something you want to go towards. Put it on a vision board. Put it by your bed. Put it somewhere that you're going to see it every single day, so that you can take those baby steps towards those goals. And maybe you don't get it accomplished or all of it accomplished in the 1 year. That's okay. It's not a do or don't. Maybe it is for you, but for the most part, the cool part actually really is that you can make vision boards and go back at any point in time and look at them and say, hey, did I accomplish that? No, that's okay. Did I? Oh my gosh, wow. Like, you're like, man, I took a picture out of a magazine of the house that I wanted. And then you look at your house and you're like, I bought that house. It's actually happened to one person. I heard their story. They're like, I made a vision board like years and years ago because people told me to. And I found this house that I really wanted. And then I got my vision board out of the like basement, and they ended up buying a house almost exactly like that house, and or the house. I can't remember the full story, but anyways, it's happened. So when we put this energy out into the universe, it really pulls it in, right? I've talked about this before, is the words that we use, how we go about our life, whether it is saying that if I didn't have bad luck, I wouldn't have luck at all, or if it's like, I am confident, I am moving towards my goals, I am powerful, I am strong. Whichever energy we put out there, that's what we tend to draw in. And I was not a person who believed in this by any means back in the day. It really has taken over time for me to really understand these concepts. So I'm not asking you to really fully understand what I'm saying right at this moment. What I'm trying to do really, again, is just planting those seeds, helping you have a little bit more tools, resources, or information in your tool belt, because that's what it's all about. You can take them out at any point in time, or you can put them back, and that's okay too. So, once we have tools in our tool belt, then we get to decide, which is pretty cool, isn't it? I think so. So, really, this whole concept of it's holiday time, we might feel like, I don't know, it kind of depends on what's happening in your life at this point in time. You're either really, really busy or you're not really, really busy. And maybe you have lost several people during the holidays and it's kind of more of a sad time for you. Maybe you're feeling really alone. There's a lot of other emotions that come up. Or maybe, again, that flip side is you're really, really busy. Like, this is the best time of year. It's one that you always look forward to every single year, is the holidays. So it kind of depends on what's going on in your life, and that's absolutely great. But the coolest part about all of this is that you have the choice to decide how it looks and how your life is really going to be. And I know that that can sound hard for some people, but it really is true. Like, we all have the choice of how we're going to show up in life. We all have choice how things are going to affect us. And when we're like really deep in moments, sometimes that's hard to see. And I totally understand that. But the best part is that you do have choice. Is this going to affect me that I go into a deep depression? Or am I going to take this as a learning experience and I'm going to change it all around? I'm going to utilize the blessings or whatever you might think of it and transform it into something that can be powerful and impacting for me and everybody else around me. You have that choice to be able to do that. And that's why I want to give you some tools, this information that might be helpful for you as we move through the holidays and into the new year. How about setting yourself up for success for this next year versus potential failure on a New Year's resolution? So, um, again, some of the ways that we can really truly make mental health matter is by setting ourselves up for success in the new year. So, if you are watching this, I would love this to be interactive. I am live. So if you have questions that are kind of coming up about anything that I said, you can drop them into the live chat. You can ask your questions. I will answer them for you. But really, grab a piece of paper. So I'm going to give you a couple seconds. I'm going to take a little sip of my drink. the best thing I've ever gotten. Lots of water, lots of hydration. Grab a piece of paper if you don't have one. And just put at the very top, say, word or word of the year, whatever you want to call it. Word of the year. And then just put that there. We'll come back. Then you want to write out your mission. What is your mission in life? What are you trying to accomplish over the next year? You could go 5 years, 10 years, 12 years, 20 years. There's a saying that says we underestimate what we can do in a year and we overestimate what we can do in a year and underestimate what we can do in 5 and 10 years. So just keep that in mind, as we usually like throw all these goals in within a year, and then we don't accomplish them. So if we can space them out, it's better. So word of the year. Then we're going to write out our mission. We're going to write out our vision. So this is for you. This isn't for anybody else. This is for you. So word of the year, mission, vision, top 3 goals for the year. And then maybe add in there, like, what is your comfort zone destroyer? What is a comfort zone destroyer, you might ask? Well, it's something that will help you step outside of your normal. Something that will expand you or your life. Something that feels uncomfortable doing. And what is the time on that? Is it 6 months? Is it a year? Again, is it 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? But for this one, we want to keep it in the year. So what is that one thing within next year, 2024, that will break you out of your comfort zone? Where do you feel really comfortable right now? You're like, I don't want to leave my house. Nope, not leaving my house. What can you do that will help you break out of that comfort zone? Or maybe you're somebody who is truly experiencing a depressive time, or you have a lot of anxiety, maybe like social anxiety, or just anxiety in general, right? Like, what is going to help me break out of this depression or this anxiety? And I know I talked about it, was it last week? I don't know. And my weeks kind of blend together. But my previous guest, Curtis, how he broke out of his 9-year depression was taking 24 to 48 hours and not judging himself. Because that's where a lot, like, the judgment comes in. We're judging ourselves versus trying to just live life and have it easy and have it flow. So what is that one thing that can be your comfort zone destroyer? And write it all out. And if that feels good and in alignment with what you're trying to accomplish, then maybe go and create a vision board. Cut out magazine pictures, words, news articles. You could print them from this Google thing. Google it, find an image, print it, put it on there. But maybe this feels more in alignment than potentially doing a New Year's resolution. So that's just one way, or I guess that's several different ways, that you can make or start to make mental health matter. The other thing is that, how do we start having these conversations? The conversations that we have on this show, specifically when I have guests on here. They're conversations that maybe you don't think about having on a daily basis, but how can we break out of our comfort zone and start having these conversations, asking the tough questions? And again, we don't have to know the answers. We don't even have to provide the solution. We can simply just be create a safe space for people to come and talk and feel like they're not going to be judged. Allow them to just express how badly they're feeling. And then if they ask for our advice, or if we ask them if we can give them some thoughts of what might be popping into our head, and they say okay, then at that point in time, we have more of a conversation. But the way that we can really truly get people to open up and start to really recognize maybe that they are struggling is by asking questions. When you notice somebody that might be sad or mad, or you could notice that they're having a lot more anxiety, maybe they're not coming out as often, like we can start to use what I call our noticing skills and ultimately have these conversations. And great ways to start these conversations are I statements. I had noticed, I observed, I'm aware of, I'm curious about, I wonder. All of these I statements are a great way. And then you insert the fact. It's not just a uh hypothetical conversation. Like you're really truly inserting what you've observed, what you've noticed, what is coming up. We really can start to have these potentially hard conversations, depending on how often you do them, but really being authentic and allowing people that safe space to be able to just be and say whatever they need to say. And if we could spread this idea across the world, what is the ripple effect that really could start happening? What is that wave that we could start to see more understanding, more thought provoking conversations, more awareness around mental health, substance use, suicide prevention? Like, how could this ripple effect keep going across the world? We also have to be aware of our own energy. So I'm not saying that you go out and just start talking to everybody. Maybe it starts with the people that are closest to you. Maybe it starts with in your community. If you don't have a community and you need a community, there's lots of different types of communities that you can be a part of. I know, like BCC Evolution, this year we just started our community events, which we actually have one tonight. We are doing candlelight trauma informed yoga at Free Spiritual Community in Denver, and it's open to the public. You can go and share these experiences with other people within that community. So there are several other different types of community that you can be a part of, if that's something that you're looking for. So you have to be aware of your own energy. If I am not well to help myself, I'm not going to be well to help others. So we do also have to think about self-care. Self-care is not selfish. It is a necessary. We have to be able to take care of ourselves to be able to take care of others. And oftentimes when we do go into these conversations that can be potentially hard, sometimes it drains our energy. So how can we shift and pivot and really take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others? And some of those tools would be, and it all depends on you and what your preference is, but it could be like the candlelight trauma informed yoga. It could be getting out into community, like not doing the yoga, but going to like community events. For some people, it is religion. For some people, it is sometimes they just need to be by themselves. If they're around lots of people all the time, maybe they need to energize by being alone. Maybe it is meditation, maybe it's writing or journaling, maybe it is exercising or taking a walk or getting out in nature. there's so many different forms of self-care, and whatever works for you is great. And then there are other one of the other ones that I always kind of giggle and I'm like, oh man, I want to try that, drumming circles. I love music, so music is one of those things that, there's that saying that when you are sad, you understand the lyrics, and when you're happy, you enjoy the music. um there's those, like, it's a whole mood. It can change your mood depending on what you're listening to. So music is a great one. Art is a great one. Being creative, expanding your mind. It has been scientifically proven that volunteering actually helps release what I call the brain's happy juices. Those are your endorphins, the serotonin, the dopamine, all those happy juices. And you could even, like, boys and girls clubs, if you need ideas for youth, it can be playing board games. Like, there's so many different things. Like, I could literally go on and on and on and on about self-care. But I know for me, and you can think about this question too, is when do you know when you need to refuel, or when do you need to check in with yourself and take a little bit of self-care? And I know for me, that's usually when I'm either getting really, really sick because I'm just going, or if every single little thing is bothering me, like triggering, bothering me, where I go into mad, or I'm sad, or all the other emotions come up. That's when I'm like, huh, I should probably do a little bit of self care. So, when we become aware of these things within ourselves, that's when we can really take action to make it better and change whatever we're doing so that we can help others. And if you're a helper like me, it feels really good to be able to take care of ourselves so that we can take care of others. And these are the ways that we can really truly make mental health matter. And I know that across the world, there's the other saying, mental health matters, and it really truly does matter. But the reason why I shifted the name of this, of BCC Evolution's tagline and our second identity, and then this show, is because there's a way that we can make mental health matter, because mental health matters. And the more that we can have these conversations, the better we can be. And when we know better, we can do better. And that feels really, really good, because oftentimes we really are doing the best that we can with the resources that we have available to us. And now you actually have more resources, and that's pretty cool. So, the whole point, again, of Make Mental Health Matter and this show is to bring you, as the audience, more resources, more understanding, more information, learning how we have more resources in this world, this global world, to be able to tap into. And we have people resources, which are the guests that I bring on here. Hopefully, if you haven't watched any of the episodes in the past, go back and watch, because every single guest that I've had has just been simply incredible, and they've been so helpful. And that's what I love. Some people that come on here, I know them. Some people I don't. They're strangers, and they show up and we have the most incredible conversations. And that really truly is the heart of what fuels Make Mental Health Matter. And this show really truly matters. And so I just want to share, going into the new year, and I'll remind this, I have what? 1, 2, 3, maybe 3 shows left this year. If I don't, I may do reruns next week. I'm sorry, but I do want to take some time, unless I get a chance this week, to pre-record them. I know nobody wants to hear that, but If I get a chance to pre-record them, I'll get them out next week. But otherwise, you may get some reruns next week. So where was I going? Okay, see, brain all over the place. I was going that way because in coming up in the new year, I am going to not be doing Wednesday evenings anymore. It has been a lot to do 2 shows. It's been since April. And finding the right guests, the guests who are really going to truly give you the resources and the information and the time commitment with everything as it is to produce a show is a lot for one person. It's because I do this. So I will be going back to solely Mondays. We're talking about mental health, so it has to stay on Mondays for Mental Health Mondays. I've been doing this. I started as a podcast show in 2021. We moved to E360 TV in April. This is me. I moved to E360 TV in April. And ever since then, we have been a live show, a live TV show. So it will stay on Mondays for Mental Health Mondays, keeping the name Make Mental Health Matter, because we are really truly making mental health matter through the guests, through the resources, the information, all of the things. But I will be eliminating Wednesday evenings. So if you are a person that has been following me for a very long time, thank you so much. I am super grateful for you. Talk about gratitude. I am just so grateful for the following. Excuse me. The following that has built from this. We have an average and over 5,000 views, and that is incredible. So thank you. If there's anything that I can ever do to make this better or more helpful for you, reach out. Go to bccevolution.org, and under the Make Mental Health Matter show, you can send me a message. Be like, oh my gosh, Kelli, I would love to see a guest who is in this space of mental health, or this space of substance use, or this space of recovery, or this space of telling their story. Again, bccevolution.org. You can go there and shoot me a message and let me know. I would love to see this particular guest, or hey, could you go after this person or this celebrity or whatever, right? We're going to elevate. We're going to constantly elevate and give you the information that you want and need. So I will let you know the exact time. We're still working out the details there. It's either going to stay at this time, which is 11 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, or there's a potential of moving it to 5 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, which is prime time right before Monday Night Football, right? I don't know about you, but I like football. So right before Monday Night Football, which I think is a pretty cool time. So we'll see. I don't know. I'll let you know the exact time. No matter what you do, join me back. I do have a show this Wednesday. Join me back this Wednesday, and I'll let you know more, whatever happens. But thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have, if I don't have you on here watching and you do celebrate Christmas, I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. I'll see you next time.